Senate to confirm Justice Ariwola as CJN. NECO deploys software for effective grading. Ukrainian officials hope for grain exports could resume this week despite Russian missile strikes. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. First on our news this afternoon is a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has forwarded the name of the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Oluwakayode Ariola, to the Senate for immediate confirmation of his appointment. His request for confirmation of the appointment of Justice Ariola as CJN was contained in a letter that was read on the floor of the Senate during plenary session. At the National Assembly in Abuja, according to the executive communication, the President forwarded the names of 5 nominees to the Senate for confirmation of appointment as non-executive directors of the Board of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. He also sent to the Senate a list of 19 nominees for confirmation as resident electoral commissioners, RECs, for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. 5 of the REC nominees are for renewal of appointments, while 14 are for fresh appointments. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari is in Liberia to attend the country's 175th independence anniversary celebrations. The senior special assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, disclosed this in a statement saying President Buhari, who will be the special guest of honor at the event, will join other world leaders and organizations to rejoice with the people of Liberia at the event. Reports say after participating in the independence program, Buhari is expected back in the country later in the day. Recall that Nigeria played a leading role in the stabilization of the West African nation in the early 90s, leading to the establishment of the democratic rule, and has continued to assist the country in many ways, especially through the Technical Aids Corps program. Accompanying the president on his trip are the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and Director General of National Intelligence Agency, NIA, Ambassador Abed Rafiu Abubakar. In the legislature, a bill seeking to include teaching against breast and cervical cancers into the curriculum of all secondary schools in Nigeria has gone through second reading at the House of Representatives. The bill, which is sponsored by the Chairman, House Committee on Healthcare Services, Tanko Sanunu, and co-sponsored by the Chairman, House Committee on Basic Education, Professor Julius Ihoberev, is part of the OIC Foundation's arm of youths, AROI Anti-Cancer Health Campaign, an initiative targeting youths in Nigerian senior secondary schools, and the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC. Already in partnership with the NYSC, the OICI Foundation is annually delivering the same anti-cancer campaign to hundreds of thousands of Nigerian fresh graduates, youth corps members in all the 37 NYSC orientation camps in Nigeria. The ROA Health Campaign enjoys the support of the First Lady Aisha Buhari, whose NGO, the Future Assured Foundation, is partnering with the OCI Foundation on the bill. In the meantime, a UK court has granted bail to the wife of Senator Ekweremadu, Beatrice, who has been held alongside her husband in the United Kingdom. The court, however, refused to grant bail to her husband. It will be recalled that Ekweremadu, a former deputy president of the Senate, was detained alongside his wife over allegations of a plot to traffic a man into the UK to harvest a kidney for their daughter. According to reports, 55-year-old Beatrice is charged with arranging or facilitating the travel of another person with the view of exploitation between August 1, 2021 and May 5, 2022 under the Modern Slavery Act 2015. The Common Sergeant of London, Richard Marks, granted the bail to Beatrice, subject to some fair stringent conditions. The prosecutors did not appeal to the decision of the court. In education, the National Examination Council (NECO) has deployed cutting-edge software to ensure efficient grading of students/candidates in its various examinations. The Registrar and Chief Executive of NECO, Professor Dantani Wosushi, stated this in a press statement issued to mark his 1 year in office. Speaking on the new grading system, Wosushi, who is listed several achievements recorded since assuming office, said the software would ensure precise grading value for every subject. He also lamented that the initial placement of NECO on the list of ministries, departments, and agencies (MDAs) that remit 25% of generated revenue to government coffers took a toll on the exam body's activities. In the meantime, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) is holding a protest across the country amid the prolonged strike by university workers. While the demonstration is expected to take place in all 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) says it will join the protest tomorrow, Wednesday. Recall that university workers, including members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU), Senior Staff Association of Universities (SANU), and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities (NASU), amongst others, have gone on strike since February 14 for various reasons, including the adoption of the Integrated Personnel Payroll Information System (IPPIS) of the government as the payment system is the university sector. Reacting to the distributing situation in the university sector, the NLC faulted the federal government over its handling of the industrial action that grounded activities in public institutions. It also called on the government to pay the salaries of striking workers, which it said had since frozen on the premise of the so-called no work, no pay policy. Meanwhile, the police and the Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) says it will deploy personnel in critical infrastructure and facilities in response to the nationwide protests. The NSCDC spokesperson Shola Odumosun said armed and unarmed personnel would be on ground to protect the protesters and Nigerians.
It's not solidarity protest. Don't put it solidarity. It's a protest by NLC for ourselves, because all the affiliate unions and their members are members of NLC. We have taken three levels of decision. Okay. First is the protest, which is going to be national. Okay. After the protest is 3 days national warning strike. If it fails, then we'll go perpetual. That is the decision of our National Executive Council. And therefore, I think what will even be very helpful is for them to look at the timeline that we have set for those issues to be sorted out. Already out of even 2 weeks they proposed, 1 week have gone, and I've not seen anything on the table to try to resolve the issue. We are optimistic that they should be willing this time around, because we are also willing to get our children back to school.
Away from that, troops of the 7 Guards Brigade, which provides security for the presidential villa and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, have reportedly been attacked by gunmen suspected to be terrorists. Reports say they were ambushed while on patrol along the Buhari Road in the nation's capital. A spokesperson for the Guards Brigade, Captain Godfrey Abakba, confirmed the incident, noting that the attack was successfully repelled by the troops. Captain Agbapa said a few of the men who were wounded in action have been taken to hospital where they're receiving treatment. Adding that the troops were combing the general area to get rid of criminals who have been threatening the area. He advised residents of Abuja to go about their lawful businesses and keep cooperating with the military by providing timely information to enable them curb the activities of criminals. In the meantime, terrorists have released 3 victims of 62 hostages of the abducted Abuja-Kaduna train passengers on March 28. Reports say the victims, who consist of 2 males and a female, were released by the terrorists at a location inside the forest along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. From there, they were picked up by their relatives. So far, 22 victims have regained their freedom. It is, however, not clear if any money was paid to the terrorists to release the abducted victims. Recall that gunmen had on March 28 blown up the rail track, killing some and abducting scores of passengers. On Sunday, the terrorists released a viral video where they were seen flogging their hostages. They also threatened to abduct President Buhari and the Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. In another development, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, NUP, Ekiti State Chapter, has threatened to approach the courts to compel the state governor, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, to pay the outstanding benefits before the expiration of his tenure in October. The NUP chairman, Joel Akinola, while addressing journalists at a press conference in Ado Ekiti, said that the outgoing government announced plans to pay entitlements of all sacked political aides. The backlog of emoluments of the pensioners should be prioritized in good time. Akinola revealed that an aggregate of 587 pensioners are either dead or bedridden owing to the infirmity suffered as a result of the inability to get the required treatments for their ailments. The chairman said the union had put its lawyers on notice over the alleged shabby treatments being meted out to them, and that they might resort to litigations if the issues were not resolved expeditiously. On electoral matters, according to information displayed by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), no fewer than 18 political parties are set to contest the governorship election in Sokoto State. Reports say 2 political parties are fielding 2 female deputy governorship candidates for the first time. They include Hanatu Mutta, who is the deputy governorship candidate on the platform of the Action People's Party (APP), and Hawawu Bello, who is the running mate on the platform of the Allied People's Movement (APM). Reports say apart from the candidates of the All Progressive Congress (APC) and the People's Democratic Party (PDP), which has Saadu Umar and Ahmed Sokoto, other political parties have also fielded candidates for the election. In Africa, South Africa has officially requested the extradition of 2 Gupta brothers currently in the United Arab Emirates (UAE) on charges of money laundering and fraud. South African Justice Minister Ronald Lamola said Atul Gupta and Rajesh Gupta, commonly known as the Gupta brothers, are accused persons in 2 criminal matters by the United Arab Emirates (UAE). Reports say the brothers were arrested in Dubai in June 2022 on the basis of an Interpol red notice launched by the Pretoria. They are accused of having looted the country with the complicity of former President Jacob Zuma. Director of the National Prosecuting Authority in South Africa, Shamaila Botohi, has assured the ID Investigating Directorate that it is working with relevant stakeholders to ensure that all the cases have the necessary resources and good support from the Department of Justice, adding that the extradition could take several months to be completed.
The matter relating to the Gupta brothers, the United Arab Emirates, Mr. Atul Kumar Gupta and Mr. Rajay Kumar Gupta, commonly known as the Gupta brothers, accused persons in 2 criminal matters.
Ensuring that all the cases have the necessary resources. We've had good support from the Department of Justice. We're working very, very well. The ID is working extremely well now with relevant stakeholders.
The matter.
Away from that, Tunisians have voted to approve a draft constitution a year to the day after President Said sacked the government and froze parliament. Numbers released by the Electoral Authority suggests turnout was 27.5% out of 9.3 million registered voters. President of the Electoral Authority, Farouk Bukshkai, announced it was an approximate percentage which will certainly increase, taking into consideration that there are polling stations that still received voters. Observers claim that the turnout was higher than expected, showing that Said continues to enjoy personal popularity almost 3 years into his mandate. On the foreign sense, the United States is preparing for China's angry response over its support for Taiwan, a self-governing island that Beijing claims as its own territory. Last week, China warned against the potential high-stake trip by the United States House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taipei. Reports say, following Pelosi's plan, China's foreign ministry has reportedly vowed to take resolute and forceful measures if the trip goes ahead. U.S. President Joe Biden has told reporters that the U.S. military thinks a Taiwan visit by Pelosi is not a good idea right now. However, Pelosi said it is important to show support for Taiwan, but declined to discuss any travel plans, citing security. Although China has not disclosed what forceful measures it is planning to take, some Chinese experts say Beijing's reaction could involve a military component, as the situation between China and the U.S. would be very tense. Away from that, Ukrainian officials are hopeful that the grain exports could resume this week despite Russian missile strikes that hit the southern port of Odessa on Saturday, just 1 day after Kiev and Moscow agreed a deal to allow shipments. U.S. officials said they were deeply concerned by the Odessa attack and are working with Ukraine on a plan B to get grain exports out of the country. Ukraine officials say they are confident of progress on the battlefield in the southern region of Kherson, as strikes against Russian command posts and ammunition depots impede the invading force's defensive capability. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said in Egypt, as he tours Africa to rally support for Moscow, that Russia and Turkey would use military naval forces to escort vessels carrying Ukrainian grain through the Black Sea into Bosporus. As still to come on the news, Nigeria finishes 18th on the medal table at Oregon 2022. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on Spectrum News at this hour. Now to more news on our business scenes, where the founder of satellite company Starlink, Elon Musk, has revealed when the company's operation would start in Nigeria as the firm prepares to compete against MTN Nigeria, Airtel, Globalcom, and 9Mobile. Musk, via his Twitter account, disclosed the Starlink service will commence next month, August 2022, in Nigeria, 3 months after the world's richest man informed his 102 million followers on Twitter that the government had approved its operation. The company is currently operational in 36 countries with 1,469 active satellites in operation as of January's reports, serving over 400,000 subscribers globally. However, it is expected that 4,200 satellites in operation within 18 months, as disclosed by Musk in March 2022. As still on more news from our business since, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has disbursed 68.13 billion naira to beneficiaries under its 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity since the commencement of the intervention. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele disclosed this in Lagos last month during the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, noting that the bank had released 9.98 billion naira for 5 projects, bringing the cumulative disbursements under the intervention to 68.13 billion naira for 48 projects comprising 26 in manufacturing, 17 in agriculture, 3 in healthcare, and 2 in the services sector. According to the guidelines of implementation of the initiative, the CBN fixed the maximum loan amount that a participant could get at 5 billion naira. The Apex Bank said the initiative would be implemented in collaboration with relevant stakeholders with a focus on micro and macro economy impacts in terms of contribution to the gross domestic product (GDP) and export sustainable jobs created, local content development, production output, capacity utilization, and integration into the global value chain. In health, the federal government has said it has developed a national strategic framework for eliminating viral hepatitis in the country by the year 2030. The federal government said the framework is in line with the global health sector strategy for viral hepatitis control. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja in commemoration of the 2022 World Hepatitis Day, the Minister of Health, Dr. Sagi Ehenere, said Nigeria is one of the first countries to have achieved this in a short time. Ehenere said nearly 20 million people are infected with hepatitis B or C. According to him, viral hepatitis remains a public health threat, especially hepatitis B and C, which causes chronic infection with attendant morbidity and mortality. He, however, said despite the significant rates of infection, there is very low awareness about the infection and called on Nigerians to get tested. Still in health, about 150 women rights and civil society organization CSOs have urged the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to lift the suspension of the state guidelines on safe termination of pregnancy for legal indicators issued by the Directorate of Family Health and Nutrition in the Ministry of Health. Recall that Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu had on July 8, 2022 directed the suspension of the state guidelines, saying the new guidelines would not be implemented until adequate deliberation. Before that, the Lagos State government had on June 29, 2022 presented and launched 40-page policy documents. However, making the call on the Lagos State Governor at a press briefing organized by the Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center, the women group said 10% of the global maternity death rate comes from unsafe abortions in Nigeria, making the second leading cause of maternal mortality in the country. Speaking on behalf of the women groups and the CSOs, Executive Director of WADC, Dr. Abiola Okigeode Afolabi, noted that the guideline seeks to save women from preventable deaths.
What the guideline it's doing is to ensure that termination of pregnancy is professionally standardized and regulated. And that if we do not do this, just as we have had a very bad record of quite a number of people, particularly teenagers, young women who die as a result of unsafe abortion, we will continue to have this bad record of deaths that we see on a daily basis.
There are all the issues that are existing. It's just a compilation of all these issues that are in the document so that it can be standardized across board. And also for new medical practitioners coming into on board will know the cases in which pregnancy can be terminated.
Sports. President Muhammadu Buhari has celebrated the winner of the women's 100 meters hurdles gold at the World Athletics Championship 2022, Tobi Amosun, thanking her for promoting Nigeria's image on the world stage. Also, the president congratulated another Nigerian star at the events, Ekweremadu, who won silver medal in the women's long jump event. In a statement issued by his special advisor in media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president said the achievements of the stars would encourage upcoming athletes to aspire higher. Recall that Amusan on Sunday in Oregon, USA, became the first Nigerian to win a gold medal as she powered over the line at the Hayward Field in 12.06 seconds at the final of the women's 100-meter hurdles. Former 100-meter hurdles world champion Jamaican Danila Williams has described Tobi Amosun's world record and gold medal at the 2022 World Athletics Championship in Oregon, USA as amazing, adding that the victory for the Nigerian after near past misses showed her stellar performance. Meanwhile, Team Nigeria has ended their campaign at the 2022 World Athletics Championship in Oregon, USA in 18th place on the logs out of 43 countries which participated. Reports say the Tobi Amosun record-breaking performance in the 100 meters hurdles and Ekweremedu's impressive efforts in the women's long jump ensured Nigeria finished on a high note. The victory for the team also meant Nigeria finished as fourth best African team at the championship behind Ethiopia, Kenya and Uganda. The US ended the competition with a total of 33 medals, more than 3 times as many of those countries in the competition, and more than any single country has ever won at a world championship. On the entertainment scenes, Big Brother Naija has introduced a new title known as Tale of the House for the Big Brother Naija Season 7. Big Brother, probably called Biggie, announced the title during the Head of House games at the arena before the games, which brought Level 1 and Level 2 housemates together for the first time. According to Biggie, the worst performing housemate during the games would be crowned Tale of the House. Biggie also noted that those positions comes with special rewards and responsibility. Still in entertainment, a Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal sitting in Abuja has fixed September 6 for judgment in a suit filed against MultiChoice, the operator of GoTV and DSTV, over the recent price hike on their products and subscription rates. The tribunal, headed by Thomas Okunsun, fixed the date after counsels for the parties presented their arguments for and against the matter. The lawyer in the latest originating summons is suing the firm, the operators of DSTV and GoTV, for 10 million naira in damages. Onifade, in the amended originating summons dated June 17 but filed on June 20, also sought the order of the tribunal directing and mandating MultiChoice to adopt a pay-as-you-go view model of billing and all its products and services forthwith. The respondents had prayed the tribunal for an order restraining the firm from increasing its services and other products on April 1, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on the notice, and the tribunal granted the ex parte motion, directing parties to maintain status quo ante bellum. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 2. I am Peter Bryan, thanking you for watching. Do have a nice day.